my lovelies, this is Lee from Leading the Sweet Life. Just thought I'd tell you what's happening in the world. This is, again, I know nobody's probably going to be listening to this or watching, but it's just because I need it to be out there, I think. So I have been quarantining myself in the house. I live in a small village called Walsingham. No, not because I'm ill, because I'm just working in the house all the time. So I think I'm on my second week of literally being out for exercise. So walking, things like that in the sunshine. It's beautiful and it's very interesting. I've just brought Mr. G to the hospital for one of his appointments. He's hurt his fingers, nothing serious. And he rang up this morning just to make sure that, thinking it was going to be cancelled. But obviously these heroes here are still working, so he's come to just have a checkup, really. But I was chatting and thinking that this is the first time I've driven out of the village, and I only drove because I wanted Hetty to have a run out, basically, to keep her going. The car, Hetty's my car, I love her. And if anybody calls her the V word, you know who you are, Mr. Matthew, then and Mr. Pete. Then I just thought to drive him. So I'm sitting in the car park because obviously he's gone in by himself, and I'm, don't want to go in, and if I am infected, which I don't think I am, want to infect anybody. Anyhow, I'm just following guidelines. But I just wanted to say that this is going to sound very odd, and I know there's, please take this in the spirit it was meant. I know horrible things are happening in the world, but for those of us who are isolated anyway in small villages, it's very interesting going out because it's just a little bit more quiet. I'm still seeing cars on the roads, I'm still seeing people around, even though they are distancing while they're talking to each other on streets and things like that. It just feels slightly different. And I was talking to Mr. G this morning and saying, are you sure my kids haven't just manufactured this as a Truman thing, as a long-term joke? Please, it's not a joke. Please don't have a go at me saying, oh, you're not taking it seriously and all this sort of shit. I am really taking this seriously. I think my point is that otherwise I would be in the hospital now touching everybody, I think my point is that it's really difficult for those of us in small villages to unless we've got the news on 24/7 to see how this is affecting the world. And having said that, when this is all over, small villages are going to be, the shops in small villages are going to be, a lot of them are going to be closed. Livelihoods are going to be lost in our villages and around everywhere, and we need to think about how we change our behaviour as a world entity. Governments say all the time that we can't, it's difficult to take a step back and try and save the planet and all this sort of thing, but because of this horrible crisis, we have done that to some extent. And I know it's going to change the landscape of our individual worlds and, our high streets and things like that. But maybe we should look at this and take some guidelines from how we're reacting to this and see what else we can do to step back and try and do something for nature. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to say. It's a really interesting thing, not me being self-isolating. I don't want to be a scaremonger or anything like that, but I just want people to look after each other, please, and that message is out there all the time. But I also just want to, for those of us who are in small villages, please take it seriously. I was out yesterday for my daily walk, and there are people around, which is nice. The sun's shining, and it can be easy to think that things are okay and we don't need to. But yeah, okay, see you next time.